Tamson Hatuikulipi versus the state.
Yes. Thank you. You may proceed, Mr. Ipingu.
Just to clarify a few issues before we close off. You were questioned about with regards to the payments of Loki through Wanakadu and Jaco Investments. You recall that?
Yes, I recall.
The court also then extended the question to see whether there were other payments also made and whether the investigations brought about any charges with regards to those payments that were made from Loki. Remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Now, if you go to page 324, 342 of the audit report. What is the summary? What table? What is the?
Okay, this table, it is a summary of identified payments to persons or parties of interest linked to payments from Loki Investment Pty Ltd.
Okay, so the payments were summarized as to who received the payments after it was paid from Loki.
That's correct.
Can you go through that table? Who is the first party?
The first party is Jaco Investment CC. The second party
Has that entity been charged for receiving such monies?
That's correct.
Okay. And the second one?
The second party is GTH Trading CC.
Has that party been charged for receiving such funds?
That's correct.
The third one?
The third one is Wanyamba Investment Trust.
Has that entity been charged for receiving such funds?
Yes. The fourth one is Fine Seafood Investment Trust.
Repeat that for me.
Fine Seafood Investment Trust.
Is that also one of the accused entities?
That's correct. Party number 5 is Otafika Logistics CC.
Has that entity been charged?
Yes, it has been charged. The 6th is Grey Guard Investment CC, which have also been charged.
Okay.
The 7th is Mr. Shodifonya. It's one of the accused persons.
Okay.
Then the 8th is Wanakado Investment CC. It's also a party that has been charged. And the Longo Clearing and Forwarding CC, which was also charged.
Okay. So this Wanakadu, who is the owner of Wanakadu Investments?
Wanakado Investment is an entity of Pilepos Mapopi.
Is he an accused person in this matter?
Just correct, he's one of the accused persons.
Okay. So when you say that they were just defending themselves, have they been charged in common purpose or acting in common purpose for those monies that emanated from Loki Investments?
Yes, they have been charged.
Okay. You have testified that there were syndicates involved also in the issue of Loki. Is Mwapopi, who apparently then paid this money and titling it to be for plant hire, is he also part of the syndicate that you investigated, according to your charges?
That's correct, he's part of the syndicate.
What is the total value of monies that was then acquired through this syndicate, according to that table?
The total amount is 29,625,000 Namibian dollars.
Right.
Just repeat that.
625,000 Namibian dollars.
There were issues also in regards to that, the payment of the 26th of May to JTH Trading. Can you go to page 339 of that report?
339.
39.
Yes, I'm on that page.
If you go to 10.292.4,
Yes, I'm on that paragraph.
and the paragraph before that, can you read those paragraphs with regards to how it came for this money to be paid to JTH Trading on the 26th of May, as reflected in the bank statements which were then produced in examination, in cross-examination?
Okay, the paragraph before that, which is 10.292.3, it is saying the balance reflected on the bank account of Wanakadu Investment CC immediately prior to the receipt of the 3,500,000 Namibian dollars from Loki Investment Pty Ltd on 22 May 2017 was an amount of 104,894 Namibian dollars. The bank account of Wanakadu Investment CC reflected additional receipt of 2,822 between the receipt of 3,500,000 from Loki Investment Pty Ltd on 22 May 2017, and the payment of 1,500,000 to Erongo Clearing and Forwarding CC on the 29th of May 2017. The next paragraph,
Yes.
it said that, therefore, based on the analysis described above, the payment to GTH Trading CC of 1,500,000 Namibian dollars and Erongo Clearing and Forwarding CC of 1,500,000 Namibian dollars, and indirectly the payment to Grey Guard Investment CC of 1 million, funded by the 1,500,000, would not have been possible if Wanakadu Investment CC did not receive the amount of 3,500,000 Namibian dollars from Loki Investment Pty Ltd.
Okay. So in that regard, it was not money that was already in the bank statement of Wanakadu, that in the bank account that was then paid. It waited from money from Loki, and then from there, on the 26th, when the 3 million came in, 1.5 is paid out to JTH. On the 29th, 1.5 million is paid out to Erongo Clearing. And then the 12th, Erongo Clearing then forward this money further to Grey Guard Investment. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And who is Grey Guard Investment?
Grey Guard Investment is an entity that belongs to Mr. James Hatuikulipi.
Okay. And Mr. James Hatuikulipi, what was his position at that point in time when these government quotas were given, government objective quotas were given to Loki Investment to harvest?
By this time, he was a chairperson of the board of directors of Fishrot.
Have you been provided with any explanation as to why money that flows directly from Loki, from government quotas through Loki to Wanakadu goes to the entities of the applicant before court, and then immediately, within 10 days, is transferred to the chairperson of Fishco?
The explanation that had been given,
No, from the applicant, did you get any explanation as to why this money was being channeled through his entities to Greyguard, who is the chairperson of Fishrot?
no, I did not get any explanation from the.
Can we move on?
My Lord, no question.
Okay.
It's not for explanation. That question should have been asked to the applicant in cross-examination.
He refused to comment to anything on the audit report.
No, my Lord, I'm not talking about previous. We're talking about now. Was that question asked in this bail application? My
Okay.
learned colleague is trying to use a clever tactic.
Well, it's fine. I hear
Yes,
I
it
hear
was
what
never
you are
asked.
saying.
For the record, Your Lordship, this question that is being asked to Mr. Kanyangela was not asked to the applicant
Okay.
in cross-examination.
My Lord, even in this bail application, the applicant recorded that this is not an audit report, he is not going to provide answers to.
Well, it's fine. We'll deal with it as it was presented. Say, he never explained to Mr. Kanyangela.
Yes.
If it arises in court, he can still deal with it if he's
As a
given
court
that opportunity. So, if it arises, then parties can deal with
As a
it
court
on
case.
that basis.
Let us move on to the issue of, there was a whole confusion with regards to Fishco being paid less for the quotas, less than the market value. You remember that?
Yes.
And their usage agreement reflecting a lower price for the fish per metric ton. You recall that? Can you go to page 154 of the audit report?
$154. Yes, I'm there.
What does that page reflect?
Okay, this page, it reflects the usage fee agreement, or the table on the usage fee agreement that was entered into between Mermaria Seafood Namibia Pty Ltd and Fish Call for 10,000 metric ton.
For when? What is the date on that?
It's for the 30th of June 2016.
30th of June. What is the price per metric ton as reflected on that table?
The price is an amount of 3,200 Namibian dollars per metric ton.
Go to the next page. Of
You said
150.
3,200.
200.
Yes. Go to the next page, 154. There's another table there. What table is that?
I thought the first page you mentioned was page 154.
Yes.
Now it's page. You are directing
155.
or
There
the
are-
next
there are
page.
one, it will
155.
become evident as we.
All right.
Okay, the table on page 155.
What is the date, first and foremost?
The date is the 4th of July 2016.
How many days after the previous one of?
It's 3 days in between.
3 days in between. What is the price per metric ton that is on that page 154 of that usage agreement of the 4th of July 2016?
The usage fee for the agreement of the 4th of July 2016 was an amount of 1,920 Namibian dollars per metric ton.
Who are the parties? to that
It's
agreement?
Memoria Seafood Namibia, Pty Ltd, and Fishco.
So it's the same parties as per the usage agreement of the 30th of June 2016.
That's correct.
What is the price difference between the metric tons of the catch agreement of the 30th of June 2016 and that of the 4th of July, 3 days later?
Said the difference of
Yes. Of the pricing per metric
Just
ton.
repeat it for him.
Catching agreement of 30 June, how much was it for per metric ton?
3,200 per metric ton.
Catching agreement for 4 July, 3 days later, how much was it?
It's 1,920.
So approximately 280,000 difference in pricing.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you read what the auditors recorded at page 155, just below that table, as to how that transpired?
They wrote as follows. They say we noted that at 14:28 on the 4th of July 2016, Mr. Ngipunya sent an agreement with the file name Agreement HM for 2016 for filing PDF to Mr. Stephenson with the following accompanying message. Annexure D14. Herewith attached, please receive the attached agreement. Please sign and send me a copy. This is just for filing, but the first one is for payment. Then 7.27, we noted that this filing version of the usage fee agreement dated 4 July 2016 differed from the first one to the extent that clause 4.1 now reads as follows. Mirmaria will pay Fishcall a usage fee of 3,200, 1,920 Namibian dollars, plus VAT thereon per ton of horse mackerel, caught in terms of this agreement. 7.28, we confirmed that Fishcall had invoiced Mirmaria Seafood Namibia Pty Ltd the amount of 27,600,000 Namibian dollars, 12,500 metric ton at 1,920 Namibian dollar per metric ton,
Okay.
plus VAT on 6 July 2016, with invoice 0000216, at that Mirmaria paid the invoice amount.
So, in other words, the usage agreement that is filed with Fishco and that was paid is for 1,920 per metric ton.
That's correct.
But in fact, the value that is agreed upon is 3,200,000 metric tons.
That's correct, yes.
So, does that then confirm? Is that in line with what Stephenson is saying, that there was an arrangement that some monies will go to Fishco, but some will be diverted directly to the parties of interest,
That
including
is in line,
JDH.
yes, it is in line what you have said.
Okay. Now, with that having been discovered of emails, messages coming from Hipunywa, what would be your comment with regards to when it was put to you that Stephenson was just lying about this? Was just telling wide lies, as it was put during cross-examination.
He was not telling lies. That's why the auditors also picked it up in the emails.
Okay. Document number 38, which is the supply agreement of Roba Logistics. First and foremost, in the previous bail application, were you questioned about Roba Logistics?
I cannot recall of having been questioned about it.
Okay. Perhaps the record will reflect that you were questioned about it. As from page 1000 and even 1012. So, and it was maintained during your answers that there was nothing showing how much fish was sold and the value thereof.
Just repeat the page for me.
From 1012, continues up until page 1015.
Okay.
Now, this supply agreement that is now brought before court is document 38.1. Does it in any way change that position? Does it in any way show how much fish was sold and the value of the fish to Roba Logistics, if any?
It doesn't show anything related to such.
Okay. The further engagements which were referred to in B40 and B41, do they conclusively show how much fish was sold, if any, or first and foremost, if any fish was even sold to Roba Logistics, and the value?
It doesn't show anything. It only show what was being discussed about the prices. But it doesn't show any fish supplied and the value involved.
Okay. Can you go to page? Because the also issue came up with regards to the payments to DHC and CELAX. If you just go to page 144, 146 of the audit report, please.
Just repeat the page number again.
146
Yes.
of the audit report. According to that table, what does the table represent?
The table made up a summary of possible payments to other parties in respect of usage agreements.
From?
From Fiscal.
And these payments were made by who, according to that table?
The payments were made by Fiscal to
Let me see the file. Maybe I can just
My Lord, I've been listening to my learned colleague. My learned colleague is soliciting new evidence.
Okay.
This was not canvassed
Okay.
in evidence in chief. Neither did it come out. We didn't deal with the issues of payments to these entities that he's talking about in cross-examination.
Okay.
So this amounts to soliciting new evidence. He has been doing that for the bulk of the apparent re-examination, but I've been quiet.
No. Well, maybe you could have pointed it out. The other aspects, I thought they arose from the questions because it related to the issue of, for instance, robber logistics. You asked about that.
Indeed, my Lord.
And remember also he asked about the issue of the difference that you had questioned him, and even the court also tried to seek clarity. So on those aspects, I thought he was.
Your Lordship, it's the difference as with regard to the report, but he went overboard. I was just watching, I was just quiet. To the issue of what the auditors said about these other things, reports or agreements and what, and Mike Ngipunya, and all those things. Your Lordship, strictly speaking, my latest colleague was soliciting your evidence, but I was just sitting quietly listening.
Okay.
And that's what
Now he's on this issue, Mr. Ipinge, because I was yet to hear where this page 146 of the audit report will take us to. I'm not sure what it's all about, but he's saying you are soliciting new evidence.
My Lord, this particular, remember in cross-examination there was issues that, did you investigate where Samherji got the money from?
Not, is it,
that they paid?
Is it not Memari? Who paid Memaria? Was it not about, was it Samherji?
Yes. Where did Samherji get this? Where did Memaria get this money to pay to DHC?
Yes, where did Memaria get the money? Yes, that was asked.
Yes. So that is what I'm dealing with now here.
Okay.
To clarify what the investigations revealed.
Yes.
So what was the purpose when it was paid?
Yes.
The transaction would.
Okay, at least you have laid a basis. Let's see.
7.4. Can you just read 7.4 into the record? And then I just want you to concentrate on the payments from the 4th of August 2017. You understand? Just read 7.4, that sentence. What does it say?
Okay, 7.4 is saying, we summarize amounts paid by Samherji Group.
Yes.
That referenced Fishcall to parties other than Fishcall in table 118 below.
Okay. Now, from the payments of the 4th of August, where was that money paid for, which was referenced Fishcall, but paid to third parties?
Okay, this amount, it was an amount of 14 million. That was transferred from Merimaria Seafood to DHC Incorporation.
Now, the next one?
My Lord, again on that issue, this issue was canvassed.
Now, I just want to clarify.
Your Lordship, the question was, did the investigation officer find out where Memaria got the money? That was the question. And I repeated that question several times, and there was no answer.
Was he not saying that Memaria was being paid money meant for governmental objectives?
No, Your Lordship. He said Memaria got money from maybe other subsidiaries.
Okay.
And I kept on pressing him, which are these subsidiaries? I don't want you to guess.
I know you asked that
And I
question.
kept on asking Your Lordship.
I know you
that
asked.
I emphasize that I don't want him to guess or to speculate. Does he know or he doesn't know? That was the question. It was not to which entities Memaria paid. The question was, where did Memaria get the money from? And it was in reference to the instruction to pay various entities like JTH, Erongo Clearing, Moyo Estates, and so on. That instruction. The way did Memaria get the money to execute that instruction? That was the question. It was not to which entities Memaria paid.
You see, there's a question, and you repeated this issue. I don't know whether it will be helpful.
Your Lordship, our issue is, my learned colleague is now going into an area, he's soliciting you evidence. That was not the question, that's why I clarified. The question that I asked, initially it was misunderstood by this witness, and then I said, the issue is, where did Memaria get the money?
So
And
according to you, he did not answer the question.
He said from some of the other maybe from some of the other subsidiaries. And then I asked specifically which one he couldn't answer. And it ended there.
I see a reply where you asked him did you investigate where the money paid to Memaria came from? And
Yes,
then
Your
he's
Lordship.
saying Memaria signed an agreement with Fishco on government quotas. And what is expected to be paid is money for the quotas. Like what Johannes says. Money
Your
was
Lordship,
paid to the
that was one of the
entities.
answers. But then I pressed him again. I said,
Yes.
I don't want you to speculate or to talk in general terms. Then, based on the agreement, that instruction letter by James Hatuikulipi to DHC to make payments, I said, this is about just over 7 million. Mm-hmm. Where did the money come from to Memaria before they gave this instruction to paid money to DHC and gave that instruction? Where did it come from? That there was no answer to that. There was speculation. Maybe from the other subsidiaries, or maybe from this and maybe from that. The record will reflect as such. Okay. But what I'm saying is, my learned colleague is soliciting you evidence. The issue was not to do with who Memaria paid. That was never the question, Your Lordship.
I don't think, is that what he's touching?
That is what he's asking.
My Lord, I'm just clarifying because the table clearly says money paid to third parties while it was supposed to be paid to Fishco. My question simply on that is, all those transactions there, according to the description during investigations, when they were being paid to DHC, what was they referenced as? What is the money for? What is the reference there?
And
if the witness can answer, to clarify that issue.
Because now, Mr. Sioman, let's say you ask the witness on an aspect that he says he's not sure about. Is your colleague not entitled to, for instance, canvass that aspect because you asked about it?
Your Lordship,
how is he going overboard? Because you asked about
where
it.
Memaria got the money. Yes, I would agree, Your Lordship. That is not what my learned colleague is asking. He's asking to which entities, according to the table, did Memaria make payments?
But is it not clear to what entities Memaria paid? Is that not?
That is clear, and that is not what we asked, Your Lordship.
And I also don't expect him to repeat if it's already clear.
But that is what he's attempting to do now from the table. Which entities did Memaria make payments? That is what he's asking. And that was never, that's why I said, that was never our question. Our question was the source of funds to Memaria. Where did Memaria get the money? That was the question, which was not answered. And the speculative answer was given that maybe from one of the other subsidiaries.
Okay, Mr. Ipinge.
I just want to clarify the issue that what was this money supposed to be for? Whether it's from where? Now, this witness have said this money came from Samherji. It was supposed to go to Fishco for government objectives, but it was paid to third parties.
Yes, that is on record.
There is a document where the bank statement have been analyzed to see when this money was being paid to DHC, what was the reference, for what purpose was this money? And that is the only thing I want to get on record, to clarify as to what this money was intended for.
Okay.
And Your Lordship, with respect, that's where the problem is. If my learned colleague in leading evidence, or I had touched on it in cross-examination, to ask this witness, who did Memaria pay to, and was there any reference or something to that effect, he's entitled. But I never touched on it, and neither did he in his evidence in chief. My issue was on the source of funds paid to Memaria. It ended there. Now my learned colleague is trying to get a second bite at the cherry by now wanting this witness to testify on who Memaria paid to and what was the reference. That is soliciting new evidence, which is not allowed in re-examination.
Maybe I'm missing the issue. I don't really seem to understand where the issue is, but for the sake of progress, this will be my ruling. The report is there, the court has it, parties can argue about it, I'll take a position. So you may move on other aspects.
That is fair. Indeed, the report is already before court.
Yes.
That is actually the last aspect that I wanted to canvass in re-examination.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
my Lord, we have agreed.
Let me just say, I'm just trying to reflect to see if I may have one or two issues to clarify with the witness. Okay, I think I've been covered. I'm covered, so I will not have any issues to clarify. The parties had agreed that the applicant will file written heads.
My Lord, that is the last witness of the state.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Our case.
Thank you.
Together with what have been recorded in the first bail application, the second bail application, which automatically forms part of this record. We have agreed that the matter be postponed to 29 November for submissions, that the applicant files their heads on or before the 11th of November, that the respondents file their heads of arguments on or before the 22nd of November, we hence apply that the matter be so postponed.
Thank you, Mr. Ipinge. Mr. Samherji?
Please, the court. Your Lordship, safe to say that the other thing that was said about the record for the old bail application and this one, that is common cause. That's the law. The court, in making a determination, has to look at what was adduced before and what has been adduced now. That's common cause. The rest, we agree with the dates as advanced.
Thank you, Mr. Samherji. just to indicate that thank you for assisting the court, Mr. Kanyangela. You'll be excused. And then I thank the parties also for availing yourselves to these late hours so that we could finish with the aspect of evidence. And it is then ordered that the applicant will file their written heads of argument on or before the 11th of November 2024, and the respondent to file their heads of argument by the 22nd of November 2024, and the matter is then postponed to the 29th of November 2024 at 10:30 for closing submissions. The applicant's position remains the same. Thank you for your assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Court.
Court adjourns.